Hi, everybody. My name is Michael Zornick, and today is Friday, November 22nd, 2019. And I'm really happy to have you here for a video review of our first internal release of Clubhouse hosting. So, as I've been working on this, I've been doing it locally on my computer. But this release marks the first time we've actually deployed it to a server, which was really exciting. Learning a lot along the way. Um, and so, even though that has been one of the primary things with this release cut, I'm actually going to do this demo from my local machine, pretty much because it enables me to create a demo group with a lot of demo data a little bit more easier. So, with that, I'm just going to kind of go through the release notes, give you kind of a tour of what we have working, and yeah, and hopefully you guys will like what you see. And if you have any feedback, definitely let us know. All right, so to start off, there are three basic websites that this application powers. The first one I'll call the app site, which is what we see here, which is basically the public-facing, marketing site where you'll see, a description about the software and what it can do, and then eventually you'll have a form to create a new group site. So when you click on that, you'll be given a short form here. Now, because this is kind of like in a limited testing environment, we have an invite code that's kind of required to create a new group. Eventually that'll go away. But then you put in your group name and your group website, and you're set to go. So let me really quickly put in a code. You'll also see this warning here because right now this is running locally on HTTP, not HTTPS, so it's giving you a warning about any kind of password fields. So for the group name, I'll just call it the bogus group. And then you have to give a website address. So basically, you supply a subdomain, and that'll be your website address. Now, long term, people will be encouraged to use their own domain and set that up via DNS. We'll have instructions on doing that as well. But for now, I will just type in bogus, and you can kind of get a see of what that will be when we create the group. So I'll hit create group. I will tell it 1Password I'm not interested in saving anything. And it has created the group. So it's created the group. It has redirected us to bogus.clubhouse.test. And because this group is brand new, there's this create group owner form. So somebody needs to claim the group. So you will typically fill this out with your own personal information, and you will become the owner of this group. So let me just type in a little bit of information about me. Clubhouse.host, and a little fake password. And again, I'll tell 1Password I'm not really interested. And then the group is created. So this group's empty. There's really not a lot to see here, and we don't really have a lot of hand holding at this point to kind of guide you what to do. That'll kind of come in time. So what I'm going to do instead is go to a group that we have kind of pre-built with a lot of data, and we'll kind of go through that. So I mentioned three sites. So the first site was the group, the app site, as I'll call it. This is then called the group site, and then we have the group admin site. So this is the group site. I'm currently not logged in as anybody, so we see a little sign-in link up at the top. We've got the name of the group, and then we've got some pages here. We've got a home page, which shows a group summary, and then the three most upcoming events. Then we've got an events page, which will list all the upcoming events, as well as past events. Then you've got a member section, which currently is blocked behind a login wall, and that's part of the kind of options that you'll eventually have to be able to control like the privacy of the group. And then you've got a joint group form. So the idea is that you'll have your group hosted on a website, and if people want to create a membership account, they'll can fill in this invite request form. We ask for the first name, last name, email, and how you heard of the group. So yeah, let's just fill this in with a little Timmy tester. I will just fill this in with dummy data. Um, but yeah, you can submit an invite request, and that will go into the system, and we'll show you what that looks like from an admin perspective later. But basically, it was received. Responses will be sent via email, and then it tells the person to go back to the homepage. Um, so now, let me actually. I'm going to log in. And to log in, I'm going to load my dummy account. So we've created a lot of fake users. So this name is Willie Braun. And now that I've logged in, you'll see a couple changes. So at the very, very top, you'll see this link now for group admin. And this group admin, this like admin bar, as I'll call it, in time that will evolve to tools. So like if I'm an admin and I'm looking at, for example, a very specific event, you can imagine buttons up here that will let me quickly jump to a form to like edit the event. Otherwise, you could click it and just go to the main homepage. But the other thing, before we do that, the things I want to point out, we have now, instead of the sign in, we've got a link to our profile, which right now is pretty bare, but does have a reset password opportunity, as well as a sign out opportunity. Notice that in the homepage navigation, because we are logged in, there is no more join group link. That is gone because we already are a member group. And then in addition to that, now we have access to the full members. So this is the full dummy data member roster that we've created. Each one of them links to a profile, which currently is a bit empty, but in time we'll show a bit of a member profile and custom info there. So for events, so we've got members, we've got events. If you go into event specifics, you'll see the title or name of the event, the time that it is, its start time, its end time, its duration, and then any kind of description. So this is a sample group for watching movies, so each one of them has a custom link to Amazon to buy the movie. But you can imagine this would be much more filled out for different people. We don't have RSVP right now. That's something we're still working on. And we also don't have venues. So right now, like the idea would be you could put the venue in the event description, and then later on we'll have more specific fields for that. It all comes down to kind of keeping the initial release as tight as possible, and then filling it out as we go. But so that's the public site. So let me just click on group admin, and this will show you what the kind of admin area looks like. So we have an initial area, which is dashboard, which, as it says, is coming soon. Not a lot to see there, but you can browse all the kind of core business models. So you can browse events, members, you can see the invite requests, so you can see that Timmy Tester one we just did, as well as group settings. So under events, you've got basic CRUD, create, read, update, and delete functionality, so you can create a new event. The only thing that's required right now is title. And if you create a event that does not have a start or ends, it won't be public on the website. It's just there as kind of the temporary. Once you give it a start time and a duration, it'll get it'll be listed on the public site. But so that's event. Then you got members. Again, you can create members from scratch. So typically, the default behavior would be to have members fill out the invite request form and kind of approve them. But if you want to, you can create members manually as well by just putting in the first name, last name, email, the role, which by default would be member. There would be other roles for things like owner and organizer. So if you have multiple people on the leadership team, you could do that. as well as a temp password that they can use to log in. And then when they sign in with that temporary password, they will be encouraged to, they were forced to pick a new password. So that kind of helps with that. Other than that, you can view their profile, which is basically pretty much the same thing. And then you've got the invite request. So we've got Timmy Tester came in here, and he put in his invite request. It currently has a status of open, and you can kind of read about it, and then you can say if it's accepted or declined. If it's declined, the invite's just pretty much shut down. If it's accepted, what'll happen is a member will be created for Timmy Tester, and in a similar fashion, they will get an invite with a temporary password, and then when they come in, they'll have to create a formal password. But they are listed now as a proper member, which you can see here in the bottom row. The next section is for group settings. Right now it's pretty small, but we've got the name, the summary, which I showed you is on the homepage, and then a public email address, this is helpful for there's a lot of areas of the site that require we want to provide the user an opportunity if they have a question about the group to contact somebody in the leadership, and so this is an opportunity for you to give an email for that, and that'll be used on things like form submissions and things like that. So that is, in short, kind of a preview of the release as it is today. Where the general hope is to do some new releases every few weeks, and with those releases, I'm going to try to do video recordings for them as well, so that way you can kind of check out the progress as it's coming along. As far as what is on target for next week, there's definitely a couple of bugs that were kind of discovered in the deployment process that we're working on. Some of the bigger features, though, are getting the transaction emails working. So getting emails working. So when your invite request is accepted, you get an email, and when you want to reset a password, you can kind of get an email and all those things. Then we're going to be working on the RSVPs, so letting people actually say that they're going to be attending an event with a yes or a no, and keeping track of all that, and a couple other things. So yeah, I mean, we've got the site working, and hopefully it'll be kind of just iterating through here. The general goal is to launch in January and start to dog food the site with a couple of my own personal groups, as well as a couple of friends who said they're interested in trying it out. And then we'll just be taking it from there. But thank you for following the project and your interest. As always, if you have any feedback, definitely let me know. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.